Hello and welcome. You're watching Core Finance. I'm Charlie Gibson, brought to you by the NEX exchange. Now, if you were sitting in Rome about 2,000 years ago and you had a seat at the Colosseum, one of the things you would have probably seen is panthers fighting bears. It was one of the great attractions of the games that they used to have. Now, in that particular instance, only one animal used to win. But hopefully these two animals can live together in happier circumstances. And as if to prove the point, from Panther Metals, in this particular case, I'm joined by the Chief Executive, Mitchell Smith, and also non-executive, Nick O'Reilly. Gentlemen, very good morning to you. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. I did allude to that, didn't I? Panther Metals, yes. And your project in Canada and Ontario is Bear Lake.
Correct.
Tell us about it.
Excellent. So Panther Metals was formed to act as a vehicle of acquisition of exploration projects with significant amount of upside. We discovered the Bear Lake project, consists of 1,200 hectares, 69 claims, Big Bear Lake, Little Bear Lake, and Pyramid Schreiber. And we see a significant amount of opportunity for our shareholders as we look to explore these assets.
So how did you come across these assets?
They were discovered through our team, and we've had a select vetting process of projects.
Is that you're sitting in a pub throwing darts and
yeah, exactly. No. And we saw that the opportunity that exists with these, and pursued them in vigor, and were able to put a deal together over the last several months.
Okay, so first of all, you got an option, and then that option's now closed.
Correct.
So you now have the rights over the tenement.
Yes. So we have the rights on these properties. Again, we restructured the company earlier part of this year, and we're able to immediately go into an acquisition mode and pick up these very prospective opportunities here.
Okay, so Ontario, sort of northish, westish, sort of Thunder Bay, neck of the woods, middle of November.
Yes.
Weather's probably quite balmy and pleasant, isn't it, at the moment?
It's absolutely beautiful. No, right now it's getting a little bit cooler out there, but previous we were able to do a site visit that a few of the directors were able to attend and put feet on the ground. Nick was there. He was able to walk the ground and get a picture of what this really represents. And this is a massive property, 1,200 hectares. I think if you put it in perspective, that's 9 Hyde Parks, or 3.5 Central Parks for our North American audience. So it's a very large piece of land in a very prospective neck of the woods, being in that Schreiber area.
And has it had any work done on it historically?
Yeah, there's been some exploration work, and Nick can probably chat to that as well.
Yeah, so as Mitch was alluding to, it's a very prospective part of the world. It's sitting right on what we call the Schreiber Hemlo greenstone belt. This has been made famous by the Hemlo mine owned by Barrick. To date, there's been over 21 million ounces of gold mined there. I was actually looking at the reserve statement from resource and reserve statement earlier on today, and they've got an order of 3 million ounces kind of coming on stream as we speak. So it's obvious there's a lot of gold in this system.
And you're that far away from
so so that sits about 95 kilometers from us. It's a continuous belt. Nearer
outcrops and things?
Yeah, so basically in terms of, we're sitting on the north coast of the Lake Superior. It's forested ground. There's been some glacial influence, so there is till over part of it, but there are also outcrops, lots of trees. Fairly well.
Is that a bit of Canada that goes Lake Forest, Lake Forest?
Yeah,
Lake
so
Forest.
we're sitting on Highway 17, which is the main arterial route, which actually goes from coast to coast in Canada. So we're well placed. We're 4 kilometres off the road there. But in terms of, so we're on the right sort of geology. This is Archean greenstone belt, which is about 2.6 billion years old. Closer to our property, we've got the old Winston Lake mine. That closed in the late '89, I think it was, with low zinc prices. That was a bit of both, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that was 3.3 million tons at 14.1% zinc and 1% copper that was actually produced at that. That's currently being reacquired by an Australian junior who's looking at getting that back into production. So in terms of coming back to your original question to Mitch, in terms of what work has been done there, so as Mitch mentioned, there's 3 properties that consist Bear Lake, they're contiguous. There's a little Bear Lake project. Some work done on it in the 2010-2011. A junior undertook soil sampling and ground geophysics.
What do they find?
So they basically outlined an anomalous trend. 1.6 kilometres long. It's open both ends. It was just constrained by their survey grid that they're set up, so they physically had to cut lines through the trees. So on that, we have, in terms of the soil anomalies, the highest soil anomaly was 18.2 grams per tonne in the soil.
18.2 grams per tonne of gold
in the soil. In the soil.
So 2/3 of an ounce.
Exactly. So obviously that's going to be a part of.
I mean, because usually when you talk about soil samples, you talk about parts per million or
Yeah.
something like that. Then you don't talk about 18.2 grams per tonne.
Yeah, exactly. So we got quite excited about that, and that was one of the things that we actually picked up on, and kind of attracted us to this project. Then, in terms of, there was a little bit of trenching about 400 metres away from there. They did some trenching, and they got some surface samples running over 54 grams per tonne. And then distal from that, another kilometre away or so, I think the highest surface sample they got was in the order of 4 or so. But from the geophysics they did at the same time, you can see that there's a structural influence there. These connect up, and so we're very much looking forward to.
Is that code for fault or?
Yeah.
Right,
So basically,
which you want, because that's what the mineralising fluids.
Yeah. So this is probably associated with those anomalies. So we're quite keen to get back in there, and so that was the Little Bear. Just to the south of that is the Scriber Pyramid area. Has gold been known about there since the 1930s or so. They did some trial mining and bulk sampling there. They produced
hard rock.
Yeah. So they've basically Darren and I, the 2 non-executive directors, actually visited this particular site. They've got 2 small open cast workings and an underground adit that goes below those. So they were doing this work in the lead up to World War II, and I think from historical accounts it seems that the Second World War there actually curtailed all work.
Intervened in an unhelpful way.
Yeah, but they produced, I think their bulk sample was the order of 150 tonnes at 17.6 grams per tonne. So from what I can see on surface, the expression seems to be a quartz vein containing visible gold, which is the order of 1.5 metres sort of wide. Obviously, that's not going to that's going to be pretty tricky to mine from a sort of modern point of view, but. Given the anomalies all around this area, I think we're looking to expand our modern exploration techniques.
So is the key here to get lots of these sort of anomalies, put them together, and then mine it in one open pit?
Well, of course, if you look at traditional sort of Archean lode gold deposits, you're typically looking at narrow grain gold veins, but what you actually want to do to find your a very economic deposit is find that associated with a structural feature which actually jogs that original vein and makes it wider and potentially a lot richer. So I've done some work in Finland, and for instance, the model we've been looking at there is the Kati mine, and I think that goes down the order of certainly over 1 kilometre. There's an ore shoot on surface that the original discovery expression was about 150, 120 meters long and a meter or so wide. So it obviously opened up a lot more at depth, and so we're looking for these types of deposits.
So the key is just to find something wider and richer lower down, which of course all costs money.
It does.
So where are you in terms of, I mean, is the next step, is it drilling or is it more geophysics?
Yeah, I think there needs to be a better understanding of where these next targets will be to drill. And we do have an understanding, and we're working right now to put together a plan to be able to start that exploration program in the spring of 2019.
Okay, and how much do you think it'll cost?
Well, that's the $1 million question, and I think once we have
maybe more,
and maybe more. But no, I think initially I think we'll have a smaller exploration program to begin, and as we further define that target, we'll be able to expand on there.
So, and your cash resources at the moment are anything at all, or are you going to have to go to the market to raise money?
No, we do have a healthy treasury, a very low burn rate, and
what is a healthy treasury? How many?
A few $100,000 Canadian dollars and 100,000 pounds. We're looking at again very low burn rate and ability to sustain the company moving forward. But like as you mentioned, and once we are looking at doing a drill program, we would look to go back to the market at that time.
And then take it from there.
And take it from there, exactly.
And then where would you hope the company is going to be? I mean, in your wildest dreams.
Sure. Yeah.
In say a year or 2 years' time.
For sure. Yeah, I think this is the acquisition that we did in Canada is really lays the foundation for the company. But there will be further acquisitions where we are exploring opportunities to expand that portfolio and build the company through other acquisition in jurisdictions like Canada or Australia, where there's we believe there's a near-term opportunity.
Nick, you mentioned, I think, that they'd done those previous exploration done by a junior.
Yes.
They gave that ground up. Do you know why?
They ran out of money.
As simple as that.
Yeah, you've been following the exploration mining cycles, and yes, they came a cropper of that, unfortunately.
And they said that's enough.
Yes, yes, but they're so the local group of prospectors that was instrumental in discovery and bringing them on board had a retained sort of interest in an event that they didn't survive, and so it reverted back to those individuals who are part of our network. So we then recently have had discussions. So
I guess the next big, as far as the public markets are concerned, there'll have to be a fundraising at some point. Next big thing after that, I guess, would be a maiden resource, probably. How quickly is what I was going to say? How quickly could you deliver a maiden resource, do you think, to the market?
Well, if the geology supports it, then we could certainly turn something around within a 6-month window. But that would be subject to the geology supporting that investment decision.
Summer next year, summer 1919.
Yeah, we certainly have the technical capability and experience to set up and run a resource program.
And in terms of sort of capacity in Canada at the moment, are there drill rigs available? If you need to, presumably you would hire a contractor to do your drilling.
Yes.
But is there availability of those sorts of assets?
Yes, there is.
So it'd be pretty easy for you just to sign somebody up, say, go and give us half a dozen holes, whatever it would take.
Yes.
Excellent. All right. Well, gentlemen, we wish you the very best of luck.
Come
back no later than summer next year to tell us how things are going. We look forward to it.
We will, for sure.
And we wish you the best. Thank you very much indeed. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the Chief Executive of Panther Metals, Mitchell Smith, joined by Nick O'Reilly, a non-executive on the board. I'm afraid that's all we've got time for you today. This is me, Charlie Gibson, on Core Finance, brought to you by the NEX Exchange. Signing off, we'll be here with more such opportunities in the world of mining in a week's time. And until then, you have a very capital day.